corner, it'll be red. There we are. We are live. Welcome to Hammer Away on a Friday night. Here we are with Keith Michaels of Tango Down.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing, brother? How was dinner, man? Did you guys enjoy your dinner?
Good. Yeah, we picked up my wife's birthday and a friend of ours' birthday. So we did a couple with their kids and her son. So it was nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthdays to everybody. That's fantastic. Well, as I usually do, I start my Hammer Away shows start with a lightning round.
Yeah.
So here we go. We got some quick questions, and can't wait to hear what your answers will be.
Okay.
So here's the first question. What was your first album ever?
Dig it, man. Definitely my first album that was my sister's because she was about 4 years older than me.
Yes.
And she had Jethro Tull, Aqualung.
Oh,
And,
fantastic.
Yeah,
How
that
did
was
she
one of my
decide
first
to pass
albums that I
it on?
listened to. I dug that. And real quick, right after that, I went to Peter Frampton Comes Alive. And then I want to say like Elton John's Crocodile Rock, Yeah, and that's musical listening. I don't even want to say that I bought the Partridge Family album when I was a little younger.
Hey, Mike LaPond and I talked. He's from Symphony X. Buddy Michael LaPond and I stopped, and he, what his first record was? Village People.
Oh, there you go. Wow, that's many years later for me. Way younger than me. But when I actually started listening to music, I got right into Kiss, Rush, Genesis, Yes, Pink Floyd, all that stuff just started slamming at me when I was about in 5th or 6th grade. Deep Purple, Made in Japan. Oh my God, I was off the hook. So, I mean, I really grabbled up all the albums I could at a really fast pace once I was open to the world of, music on my sister's turntable. Even though I was a drummer already in like orchestra music and marching band and stuff in 4th or 5th grade, like you said, I really didn't get into the mainstream music on the radio and records until about 5th or 6th. And once I saw my sister's albums, I just exploded, with all those bands.
I have to ask this question real quick. I know we're in the middle or we're just at the very beginning of a lightning round, but how young are you?
How young? You like that? Well, why don't I ask you a question? I'm going to ask you a bonus question. How old or young do you think I am?
I always hate this question. Why do you do that to me?
Well, I don't care. I'm not. It doesn't affect me in any way.
All the years we've known each other, which is not very long.
Still doing the thing. You think I'm really young, right?
I would assume that you're somewhere near me. I would assume you're 50.
That was about 7 years ago. I'll be 57.
Shut your mouth.
Really? Yeah, 1964, April 13th. I got my 57th coming up next month.
Well, see that me too. I got mine in November, so we're the same age.
You're 57.
Yeah.
No, so you hit it on the head. You said we're almost close to the same age, but you picked me out to be 50. How's that?
Well, yes, and I could go further with that, but I will not. I am just happy that we're the same age. Dadgummit.
Listen, man, let me tell you, nothing has made me. The thing is, nothing has made me feel my age more than, the last 2 years or 3 years. Going with Tango Down and Live Say and getting out of the band that I was in for 18 years, the Sundown Band, and working every night, every weekend, 3-4 nights a week. I look at my videos and I'm like, oh my God, the energy. But it wasn't just so much my health or my, working out, stuff like that. It was because I did that all the time. So now that I'm not playing drums all the time, your body weakens. And it's so used to those functions that and any drummer will tell you have to work out, you have to, do lifting and everything. My workout was 2 nights of practice and 3 nights of playing. That was my workout. I didn't need to do anything else. Yeah. So now without that in my life, man, it's hurting. I mean, I sit down on my drums like, I can't do this anymore. But I can. But I'm just not physically in shape to do it, which is bothering me. But it's not going to give me away or make me stop. But it's making me say, hey, man, I did this for so long. How much longer can I do this? Or how much longer do I want to do this? Neil Peart said it best recently in one of the books that was released after his passing. May he rest in peace. He goes, listen, I've been beating things for 50 years. Instead of going out of my mind and losing it, I'd rather just leave it behind and look for other interests to keep me busy. And he said, that's the best way to say it, man. So I'm like totally living his, his quotes and stuff. And I've always listened to him. And I tried to read some of his stuff. It was always difficult. But that one small little quote said it all for me, I'm not giving it up. I'm just, not. Listen, the pandemic and all the stuff that's going on in our lives right now has really put a dent in it as a whole. And guys like you who keep, having these kind of things and the online concerts and stuff like that. That's appreciative, and that's really a good idea, but it's never going to be the same. I have a hard, belief in my mind that's not going to be what it was. And thank God I got to live through it for 45 years. I'm glad at the time that I had, you know what I'm saying? Who knows what the future's going to hold? But, it is what it is.
Yeah. And, let's discuss that. Let's put a pin in that and let's discuss that here in a minute. Because that's a real interesting thought. And you've brought up something in my mind that made me think about that. Let's put a pin in that. We'll come back to that. Because that's truly, truly important. I'm a bass player, and I've been doing this only for 20 years, and not as strongly as you. Just in the fact that I'm still building a band right now. So
that's a big difference.
But we'll discuss that in a minute.
I've been, professionally more or less since I've been 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, right.
So over 40 years.
I've wanted to do it that long. But
you had marriages, you had kids or something like that. There you go. And it makes me laugh when I get friends that I've known for 45 years. Their kids are growing up. They're out of the house. Yo, man, you got to put something together. I said, dude, where were you 25 fucking years ago? I'm done. And they're like, dude, I'm booking bands. I'm booking this club. Can you help me out? So what did I help you for? I got myself where I did more hard work than I did. Nobody helped me. I've been there, done that. Dude, it's so funny because one of my friends called me the other day from my first band from high school. A good friend of mine, Roman. We still hang, we still jam when we can. He's like, so listen, man, I just want to let you know. Mark is still playing. I got this other drummer. He's pretty good. We're gonna do like a bistro thing. We're gonna call a couple of restaurants. I'm like, why, dude? There's only gonna be 50% in the restaurants. They're not gonna pay you what you deserve to get paid, and they're gonna give you half because they ain't get unless you're gonna fill the room with fucking 75 people. And I'm like, dude. It's like, well, yeah, but don't you think it's cool? What could you tell me? You want me to be excited about this for you, dude? I've been there, done that. I have no excitement about the future of booking bands or putting in myself in shows or if it happens, great. But the energy and the muscle and the thrive that I had a part of getting all my bands where they were back in the day, it's never going to be for the same reason today. It's never going to roll like that machine was. No way.
It's almost like what we were talking about working out. It's almost like going up to Schwarzenegger and going, okay, so I'd like to put together a couple of days a week. We could work out a little bit and just do some light stuff. And he's like, what the hell do I want to do that for? Because I do all this other stuff. I don't need to do that.
Yeah, I've learned.
Crazy.
I've literally been married for the third time 2 years ago. Yeah. And I have a life with my new wife now, like I've never had before. And I was married twice before and engaged once before. So I was never home. When I come home, it was either practice or getting on the computer for booking gigs or doing flyers or talking with my commercial artist or dealing with, contracts, setting up this, that, and the other thing, going down to Daytona. Constantly. There was nothing else more important than my day job, which I still hold during the day, all the years, and then my business job. And wife's family, couldn't go to weddings, couldn't go to moments. I was just going to go. So now it's behind me. I retired from Sundown in 2016. I met my new wife in 2015. We were married in 2019. And I'm like, this is great. Home, relaxing, television, TV shows that I never knew existed. It's like, I can dig this now. And it came to me at the right point in my life. It really did,
Yeah. Yeah. I've often said that things happen for a reason. Not only that, but things happen when they're supposed to.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And that's helped me through these years of trying to build a band where it was the band that actually you and I really met in 2018 when you guys played Rock and Skull and in the Peoria area in central Illinois.
Okay.
And that's when I had a chance to hang out with all four of you guys and, do the big autograph, do the fanboy thing and really have an appreciation with my own band opening the Saturday's festivities when Janet Gardner was the headliner that day.
Yeah.
And it was, for me, that was a great moment because I got to, I was a part of the gig, not just a fan, but I love, And I know other musicians that are like this, even musicians who are recording.
I would love to show you around my house. You get a kick out of it.
Well, one day I hope we can get together and do that. That would be great. Because I love New York. I love coming out to New York. And
where do you live now?
And what's that?
Where are you living?
I'm here in St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but there was a time when my wife and she had conferences out there, and so the first couple of years she went because she was new to doing those. She was in publishing, but then the third year she's like, you know what? You want to come with me? I'm like, I do. So we were in Manhattan hanging out. She'd go to her conference all day. I'd go to Manny's and meet people.
Right, sure.
And just hang out on the streets of New York, just going to the Marvel offices and going.
Experience, just no doubt about it.
And I was so damn.
Back when I got out of college, the American music dream. I said, I'm going to California. I actually went to California 1984 or 5, and I went to the Percussion Institute of Technology. Go to California, this, that, and the other thing. And I came from New York. I came from the suburbs, not really the city. I'm like in the suburbs, about 45 minutes north. And, my family had a nice house. We lived in Bronxville. I had a car, pool, ritzy area, kind of like, whatever. And I go to California, and all the guys I was hooking up with, the meeting, and like, we were looking at rooms, and like there's cockroaches. I was like, dude, I cannot live like this. So how do you get around? Oh, you got to walk everywhere. No buses, no cabs. It's hard to get any kind of, transportation. Then I get into the school, like I spend like about 3 or 4 days in classes, and like they're doing their basic beginning stuff, and I'm like, oh, I've been playing. I played at this restaurant. We get like $500. Wait, you get paid to play? I'm like, this is 1984 or 5. I'm like, yeah, my band plays a ground round, every other month, and we get like $800 for the weekend. Wait a minute, you must be like famous. I'm like, no, it's just like New York get paid. And they're like, dude, what are you doing here in California? Everybody wants to be in New York. You're 15, 20 minutes or a half hour away from New York City. It's too expensive to go there. I was like, I ran right back. I said, this place is nuts stupid. Now, listen, I'm not saying I'm any better, but I could not deal with the 5 guys sharing a bag of French fries. There was no way, man. I couldn't even get good pizza or good fucking meat down in LA back in the day. And I had met, a couple of cats that are, famous today. I mean, Axl Rose, I met on the Strip, Bret Michaels, a couple other guys in 84, 85. Vince Neil and stuff, and we got hung, and they were telling me their stories just upon their rise to fame, and I was right there in the middle, man. And I was like, if I would have stayed, I either would have been in one of those bands behind the music, or where are they now, or dead. What I'm saying? So I'm glad I actually came back to New York. I took what I knew and what I learned, and my motivation was gung-ho at that point. I actually took a band that year, a cover band, from the Hamptons to the ski resorts. We had like 138 gigs a year in 1985, 86, and 87. Now, this is before karaoke, before, the DWI ages started to rise, the drinking ages of DWI started coming in. And I was making almost $100,000 a year being in a band in the 80s. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So I knew I did the right thing. But, again, the original thing, the cover thing, I taunted with that back and forth. Listen, I had a good run. I just was never at the right place at the right time for that breakthrough. Listen, I'm a drummer. I play drums. I don't write songs. I don't write lyrics. I don't express my, my personality and my, attitude and everything into a song that really kicks and hits. I put the beat down. But if you don't have the lyrics and the chords, I can't make it any better. I mean, I've co-written some of the stuff with Lipsey, but, it's fast, edge, rough stuff, and there was always something wrong. The singer was no good, the bass player was no good. There was always something, and I couldn't correct those things. Even though I tried for years and years and years, I just say, you know what? I'm just a drummer. I'll be the manager, I'll be the promoter, I'll be the marketing agent, I'll do this, I'll book the band. But that doesn't get me anywhere. It just got me gigs,
Yeah.
So we had a great run, man. I mean, when you met us 218, Killer Records was and still is, a competitive market label in the indie, area, but there's many like that, of course, if you want to really get stellar level, you got to be picked up by somebody like, who I'm talking, even Frontiers Records, anybody.
Right. Right.
I mean, Liberty had to deal with escape music back in the 90s. It fell apart because our lawyer, crushed their offer to the table instead of it being worldwide, Wales, England, Wales, he wanted it worldwide, and we closed the briefcase and we walked out on a record. I was like, what the fuck just happened? All that stuff that happens in the legalities, formal things. I just started getting frustrated with it. I said to myself, listen, have fun, be a drummer, take the gigs you can get. I almost had a chance to play with Molly Hatchet. And Bobby Ingram asked me to send some videos, and I send videos of me doing other people's stuff. He's like, "Why don't you send?" I said, "Well, you should send my best videos." So I send my best videos of me playing Skinner or whatever. And he's like, "I wanted to see the best videos of playing the Hatchet stuff." I said, "We didn't say that." So within that time span, they wound up picking Scott Kruger. He wound up getting the gig instead. So that's why Sherman was out.
What year was it you were looking to do Molly Hatchet?
Has to be 2011 or 12, maybe 13.
I mean, dude, that's like when they played here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they had a tour overseas that was leaving in like a week.
Oh my God.
So I was offered that tour, and based on Bobby's acceptance of my videos, because he's seen me play, because Sundown opened up for Molly Hatchet a lot of times. And my buddy, who's the drummer for the Outlaws, Monty Yoho, suggested me. And so he remembered me. They passed my emails on, and I passed him the videos of my best performances. He said, I put them to the side because I wanted to see your best performance. But you didn't say that. You said, send me your best performance clips. You didn't say send them up doing Molly Hatchet. So it's kind of funny. And then we did South Dakota. No. Then that drummer played with us at the Chance at Poughkeepsie, and he was bad. He didn't know the material, and I was upset. Oh, and also South Dakota, when Tango Down played the festival out there in South Dakota, I think it was the second year, or the first year, and Molly Hatchet was on the gig, and that drummer was there also. I think his name was Craig Coogan or Craig Gorgon, something like that, and he didn't know parts, and I was biting my fucking nails in the backstage area. And I said, Bobby, he goes, keeping it local, man. He's from Nashville with us, but I'm like, whatever, I wasn't going to push myself, and I had my things going. It is what it is. But there were doors, but you just didn't get through them. You know what I mean?
Right. I
mean, even when Ace Frehley picked up Budgie Werner here in Westchester and Richie Scar, Budgie was me a good friend. And Budgie got that audition through a good friend of mine, Gordon Gerbert. I'm sure you know Gordon Gerbert. He wrote the book, Kiss and Tell and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, him and friends. He played in bands with me. I played in bands with him. And, Budgie, I think he missed the first audition, and Ace kind of got pissed, but Gordon got him a second chance because, listen, Budgie don't show. You better be ready for tomorrow night. So Budgie showed, and I didn't get the gig, and I always break his balls about that. But, there's always doors, but just to get through them,
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
See, this is what it's all about. We start with a lightning round, but that lightning round isn't also lightning all the time. It's not. There's a lot of lightning.
I got the gift of gab. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, hey, bro, that's what I'm all about. I dig it. I love it because where it moves.
I did a show just like yours recently with one of my guys here in the Mayapack, and it was a 2-hour show. If you didn't see it, I'll send you the link. And we had some pre-questions for me, and I was answering some of them. Like, anybody who knows me knows this stuff. Don't ask me these things. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to tell the stories behind the scenes that they don't know. The surprises, the shockers. And you can't ask me, hey, was there a surprise gig? What was the gig where everybody got drunk? I'm going to tell you these stories. You can't ask for these things because you don't know what to ask for. So, to me, that's an interview. That's a fun time, through the internet and stuff. Unless we're analyzing a band or analyzing drummers or guitar players or talking about the sign of the time. If you're interviewing me, we're going to talk about me. I'm going to talk to you about the things you don't know about and see your reaction and let people ask questions from that.
Love it. Love it. That's why last night you can check this out. Anybody else out there, of all the millions of watchers out there, go out there, and last night you can automatically know why I'm not starting from point one and going. So you did your first album in 2000, because you already know that.
Exactly.
I don't need to tell you that.
I went that way, and I was like, I go back and I look at it. So I kind of drove away from his direction a couple of times, which worked, and he appreciated it. But I don't think that's what he wanted his show to be about. I think it was an informative show, just not a formal, conversation, so to speak. And
I saw one with Carlos Cavazo recently, and I'm like, okay, he already knows all this. It's like Chris. It's like why can't I say his last name on Saturday Night Live, where he's like, so remember when you were in the Beatles?
That's fun. Yeah, that's funny.
So, what do you think is the sexiest rock and roll song?
Sexiest?
Yeah.
Really?
What would you consider the sexiest rock and roll song?
I really can't give you that. I have no idea.
Well,
see, listen, music to me, and there is sexy songs, but unfortunately, the ones I'm going to tell you that artists and the songs that we like. Listen, Taylor Dane is one of my favorite artists.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. I will tell you, yes, that is true.
If you look at my Facebook, you will see pictures of me and her all over up and down the thread.
Cool.
I know her. I've seen her 1,000 times. I go backstage. I get invited to her shows and stuff. And, everything that she's got.
Yeah.
The looks, the voice, the sex appeal, the talent, the voice, the hair. Everything she sings is sexy to me. Yeah. More songs than others. So that's what I would have to say. If I'm going to say a sexy song, I'm going to give you a female song, not a male song. That's for sure.
And that's not a problem. What would you say is one of your very top Taylor Dane tunes? And I don't care how popular or unpopular it is. You just tell me.
I got quite a few of them, but I would say "I'll Be Your Shelter" would probably be my favorite one.
Okay, cool. I want to check that out then.
Okay.
I'm gonna write it down.
"I'll Be Your Shelter," "Beautiful." Then her hits were really good. I mean, just listen.
What was the soundtrack tune she had that was in the late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah. That didn't faze me at all. I can't even remember it off the top of my head. Okay. Soul Dancing, maybe.
No. You want to know? You want to know what I think it was from?
No.
Didn't she have a track on the? Okay, I apologize if I'm incorrect, but it's in my head for a reason. Didn't she have a track that was on the Super Mario Brothers soundtrack?
I don't know. I really don't know.
There's a little thought for you.
I think the one that you're talking about would be, not showing me. I don't know, dude.
I'll Be Your Shelter. And what was the other song you said?
Of my favorites?
Yeah.
Love Will Lead You Back.
Oh, Beautiful, you said,
one
right?
of my favorites. It's a slower song. She's got so much, bro. Prove Your Love is a sexy song.
Prove Your Love.
Yeah.
Good. I want, because this is what it's about. It's about people checking out stuff that they may never have checked out before. That's part of what Hammer Away is all about. It's about stuff like this, bro. And I'll just going to throw this out there, even though it's going to deter from where I'm going. But right here, have you ever heard these guys?
British Lion, is that Steve Harris's band?
No, that would be, if I could do this right, that would be this. British Lion. But these guys are British Lions.
Oh.
This is a video from 1978. And these are a bunch of the guys from Mott the Hoople.
Okay.
So when Mott the Hoople broke up, post being called Mott, which actually a friend of mine said, why didn't they go with the Hoople? And I'm like, I don't know. I think that might have had a little more mileage
with
on
all
it.
the young dudes, right? All the young dudes.
Yes. So when Ian Hunter left and Mott the Hoople broke up, then a bunch of the guys, Overend, Watts, John Fiddler, and some of those guys went off and did British Lions. And that first album is freaking brilliant. Second record, it was okay. But that first record, and this is a live video from that first record tour. But it's stuff like that people don't know about. And you're like, people need to know about.
Are you saying that stuff was sexy? Is that what you're saying? Or just
no, it was kind of blues hard. It was blues straight ahead rock. It had some ballads on it. It's a beautiful record. If you can find it out there, I always suggest people check it out because you can check it out on YouTube. It's out there.
We'll check it out. I got to tell you. So my style, my love for music has always been, as I became more of an artist, believe it or not, it was the show that really dug me. That I dug. I guess you could say, as I became compatible with the capability of performing, maybe I'm a Leo and Smoke on the Water and playing Led Zeppelin back in the day. It didn't move me as much as all of a sudden my acknowledgement to Kiss. And people put on the big show, and like that's what really got me through the years. Like I'm watching bands like Poison and through the '80s when I went through the '80s metalheads and Guns N' Roses and they're running around and all the the things happening everywhere, smoke bombs, whatever it is. And then I go back to my friends who love the Allman Brothers, and I'm like, I was playing the Allman Brothers for 20 years. I never went to see them play live. I went to see them play live, and I went, I just couldn't dig it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. And I love Southern rock. I love the guys behind the music. They were great in their heyday. I'm sure they were a lot more energetic. As we get older, we lose that ability. But today, and through the last 10 to 15 years, the only bands that struck me were the bands that had the great drummer, like Zoltan Chaney or Tommy Aldridge or Eric Singer. Those guys are fire. And then I go back and see Charlie Watts. As great as a drummer as he was, didn't do anything for me.
Right.
As I was growing up and I was playing Ian Peace and I was playing Peter Criss and I was playing, I never touched Neil Peart. Never, ever did I sit behind a kid and want to play his tunes. He was me in a world above. I couldn't do it. It didn't make any sense to me. I might have.
What about Keith Moon or Ginger Baker?
Tom Sawyer, I might jump into something, but never broke those songs down. Never sat behind the kid and said, "I want to play this Rush song." Never. To this day, I still don't want to do it.
What about Keith Moon or Ginger Baker?
Keith Moon to me was a sloppy drummer. I don't think he ever did the same thing twice. I'm sorry.
That's not a problem.
Now we're gonna get the people.
We all got our opinions.
Hey, listen, Zoltan Chaney doesn't think John Bonham was a good drummer. Well, let's not even get to that conversation, okay? But
well, let me ask you about one.
Today, I gotta tell you my top drummers: Zoltan Chaney, Brian Tichy. You know Brian Tichy?
Yeah.
Tommy Aldridge, Eric Singer. Who's another recent guy I just picked up on? There's like three or four more of the guys that just off the hook. They strike me as energetic, creative.
What about Carl Palmer?
Yeah, he's good. Listen, the older guys, Bonham for his style, his feel, his thump, his grind, and his speed. John Bonham, hands down. Yeah. But Neil Peart for his capability, his technical ability, his drive, his focus, his lack of concentration, his maturity, his intelligence.
Yeah.
What I feel is way beyond me. I was more like a Keith Moon meets John Bonham drummer, Tommy Aldridge. I can't twirl sticks that much because I don't know if you noticed, I have a left hand that was born with a web, and I don't mind showing that on TV.
Wow.
I have pterodactyl fingers, and I was born with these four fingers webbed together, and I had operations in my under 7 and 9 years old. They never took the rest apart because they figured it would be in the way, but I only hold the stick this way. I could twirl a little bit here. Yeah. But when I see guys like this, that amazes me only because it's great. I wish I could do it. I'm not upset that I can. I appreciate their talent, but I'm a heavy hitter. I'm a solid shot. John Bonham, Tommy Aldridge, McGill Singer. So I got something that's important. There are other people that can do other things important, but the people that really impress me are the people who are very flashy, who got great tricks, got great skill, and hold down the fucking beat and hit the hammer and pump and drive.
So like Ricky ROCKIT in the 80s. And
he doesn't hold down the beat very well, though.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Nah, he's not really. You see, I've seen him live quite a few times.
Tommy Lee?
Tommy's good, but he slowed down a little bit. He got more into the easier stuff. Okay. To create the room to do the tricks, and then he just gave it up altogether. If you saw Tommy Lee in the last 10 years, he eliminated 90% of his performance and just went through the motion to get through the gig to make the money. It's ridiculous. Hope you don't get mad at me for saying that. He never gave it his all anymore. He didn't give it his all anymore. But when he was, 1986, off the hook, upside down, drumming, all that stuff. Even the circular carousel was good, but it was an easy drum solo because of what it was doing to his body. And I get all that. I get the wear and tear on your physical capability. It makes sense. But listen, take it to the top, back off when you can't do it no more. Don't try to impress anybody with stuff that's not going to impress them. So I take drummers from the beginnings to their ends. And I guess that's one of the great reasons why John Bonham was everlasting being so great, because he died so early. What would he have done, and how would he have been able to play 35 years later? You see what I'm saying? So these are all.
What about a Stuart Copeland?
Answer. Huh?
What about Stuart Copeland?
Great in his day. Loved his stuff. But I was able to play it. Messes in bottle. I can't stand losing you. All that stuff. It was simple to play. It wasn't really hard. And I was kind of a new wave drummer in my first years of being a drummer, so I picked up on that. Listen, I went from new wave to cover rock to straight original rock that was like Beatles in the early 80s then to covers, then to Led Zeppelin covers, and then I'm so all over the place. It's ridiculous, dude. I put together a list about a year ago during the COVID, being bored. Man, can I talk, huh? And I really listed every band I was in. I was able to do that, and every musician that I had played with. I played with over 140 musicians in bands.
Shut.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'm like, oh my God, remember that guy? Remember that female singer? Remember that bass player? And I was able to put it all down. I wasn't perfect with the time frames. As a matter of fact, some of the musicians who saw it on Facebook were like, oh, that was 1987, dude, not 1988. All right, thanks for correcting. I'll make that change right now. You know,
I'll change it up.
Yep, and it's pretty impressive. And I get this, dude. I get to look back and say, you know, wow, I had a great run, and everything I like to tell and share with my friends and the musician people. Most of them in one frame or one extension or another have done something there with those roads. I think I've had so many roads that, I mean, it could be a book, and it could be, for some people, kind of boring. For some people, it could be like, oh man, that's awesome. Or for some people, it could be like, I did that. Who hasn't done that if you're a great musician? No, you know what I'm saying? So listen, I'll take it for myself, share it with people who are interested and want to talk to me, and that's it. I got a story to tell. There's no doubt about it.
Well, now here's Born Distracted says he enjoys Robert Sweet.
Robert Sweet, he's a good drummer. Absolutely.
And he's very showy.
But how much has he done? How much have you been able to really see this guy, witness this guy? How much exposure into the mass media that we have has a band like, what's the name of the band again? Striper.
Oh!
I said it. I got it right. Wait, give me a second now. I said Striper. Listen, I opened up for them 5 times. I couldn't remember. I got it. But, you know, and so you know what's the funny thing about that? Speaking of Robert Sweet, right? He got on stage with Striper, Todd Latore, the singer from Queensryche.
Yeah.
Whooped up on stage and played a Striper song on the boat, on the Monsters of Rock cruise.
Yeah, okay.
But when there's a singer that easily get up and play a hard rock famous, you know, track that easily. You know what I'm saying? Now, does he have some drum technique behind him and experience? Yeah, but like I would never get up and say I could sing that song. Give me the mic. But unless it's really that easy to do,
right?
That's just a thought about that.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. Not saying he's not great or anything, but you know, that's
it. Well, here's one. Let's go ahead and let's put Born Distracted's question along with this next lightning round question. What was your first? You've always played drums, is that right? Did you have a first instrument before that, or was it always drums?
It was my first. I played piano a while in college. I wound up going to college locally for music theory and all that stuff. So I had to play piano. I had to have a second instrument. Picked up on that a little bit, but I was limited because I couldn't reach an octave from finger, pinky to thumb, which that kind of disappointed me a little bit. But I think I performed for Eloise in front of an audience, which was crazy. You know, then learned all the basics behind that. But yeah, that would be it, just piano and drums.
Gotcha. And then what was your first, what kind of drum set did you have first?
First kit, Dad bought me probably at Macy's or something, a piece of junk Telstar, if I remember correct it was. And right after the first or second month I have it, I said, this is not going to cut it. And when I would go for drum lessons with my drum teacher back, I'm going to say I was 10 years old, going on 11.
Wow.
He had a basement where we would do the pad and everything. And I kept looking back at all. He had 3 or 4 drum kits. And he kept telling me, turn around. You're not there yet. Turn around. You're not there yet. But I wanted to sit on those kits. So after about 8 months of practicing the rudiments and stuff, he let me sit on a kit. And he played me day by day. Day by day.
Wow, really?
Day by day. Wow, the win. And he let me play that drum set. And a month later, we had a spring concert. And I was in 5th grade. And I was featured on the drum set to play the song Day by Day because the concert was all musicals, Broadway shows. So that was one song that was in there, and I was a featured extra. What do you call it? What do you call that? Featured artist. Kid play the drum set. Yeah. So I did Day by Day, which is great. And then after that, I said, Dad, we need a Gretsch, we need a Pearl. I started telling him all the drums I wanted. He wound up getting me a Pearl drum set. I had that for 7 or 8 years. And then after that, I had 2 Tamas, Superstars. Then I got a Yamaha Rock Tour Custom. I recently brought a Pearl about 3 years ago. I might have had another used Yamaha. So mostly Yamahas are my favorite. Most of my Live Say stuff and Tango Down stuff is done with the Yamaha Rock Tour Custom. So I would say that. But I love my Superstars. I really did.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have like an endorsement with anybody right now, or is it?
I had an endorsement with Pacey Cymbals back in the '90s. I kind of lost it after contract responsibility was to have a certain number of albums out. It'd be certain. Then you have to report that and stuff like that. So it lasted for about 10 years. For my first stint with Live Say, which was '96 to about 2006, I had the Pacey endorsement. In 2004, I picked up Vic Firth.
I was going to say you're a Vic Firth guy, right?
I'm still with them. However, contracts changed because Vic Firth himself died. So son took over. There was a bunch of changes. I had to renegotiate some contract stuff, and I wound up using these different types of six with one of my cover bands. And I just wasn't getting them from them because it's just a pain in the neck. So I just was getting them from the store. So my rep was like, dude, how come you haven't been? It's been almost a year. So, well, because I was buying the black one, whatever. And he's like, oh, we thought you went to another company and so-and-so wants to drop you. I'm like, you're not going to get the free sticks anymore. I'm like, but it's 2 years. I just did another album when the Tango Down's 2016 release came out. Yeah. And I sent it to them. And it's like, oh, man, this is great. I wish you would have sent it to me 3 months ago before the decision was made. But then I said to them, I said, listen, what do we got to do? It's like, you got to fill out this form again. We're still going to keep you up on a roster and everything, but the freebies and stuff, whatever. And then after that, 2016 Sundown, ended. So I still got about 3 boxes left. So I really didn't need any more to order anymore and do any of the responsible things I was supposed to do for the company. Right. So I kind of got out of that a little bit, but I'm still up on their web and everything, which is cool. So yeah, those are the only two. I tried Tama. It was too hard back in the day. And Yamaha just never even tried for it. So I'm happy with what I got through the years. Again, somebody else is going to come in. I'm going to move out.
Well, right. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there.
That's how it happens. That's how I 2 companies recently. Vader wanted me to switch to them. I decided not to. And another cymbal company. As a matter of fact, they got the application and all the agreements and the negotiations right in my. I just looked at it a little further and I just said, I'm not doing that. I'm a pasty man. I've always been. I'm just not going to go back because somebody wants my name on their advertisement and I get a run of free cymbals. I'm not playing that much to have that commitment. You know what I'm saying? I want the sound I want. This is my sound. So
right. And they're going to last. I mean, they've got a good lifetime.
The best. Yeah, the best.
So let's go ahead and answer this along with that. What's the biggest drum kit you've ever played?
Probably the 1996 to 2001 Live Say kit, which would be my Tama Superstars. Sweet. I had 1, 2, 3, 4 upper racks, 2 floor toms. I always played single bass with the double pedal.
Okay.
And cymbals, I'm a cymbal man. I had 2 China types, 4 crashes, a ride, and another set of hi-hats on the right side. So that was probably my biggest kit. I have pictures of that kit. And I actually used the Tama, rack system that they used to have.
Yes.
That became a pain in the ass. So I was breaking it up and breaking it down. So I said, the hell with this. I'm going back to this.
I got a buddy of mine. I was doing open jam with him, and a real good guy. And he has one of those big rack systems with I'm just like, dude.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nobody ever seems happy breaking that down and taking it out.
No, I never did. That was horrible. It was horrible.
And as a gentlemanly bass player, I always help the drummer out.
The picture you got right behind you there, I believe that's the Live Say gig.
Is that what that is back there?
Yeah, well, I just see the top of it. I don't see the rest. How is that right there?
Yeah, I'm trying to get that figured out here.
Where did that picture come from?
Well, you know what? I got a better idea. Let's do it this way. Let us do it this way. There.
Yeah, that's my Live Say kit, without a doubt.
Okay. Very cool.
I didn't even see that. That's a nice ad. You should send that to me in a PDF if you can.
Yeah, I found it on Facebook. I think it was on your Facebook page.
Oh, no, I didn't see it. I mean, today.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I'll find it and send it to you. Or I guess I've got the whole thing downloaded. I don't remember if I copied it or saved it. I'm sure I saved it.
And if you would have told me I should have advertised this, I would have. I didn't even know I had to do that.
Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, and as I get big, we'll talk again down the line, and we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say that's probably the biggest kit these days. That's the Livesey kit. It's a couple of rack toms down from what I used to use when I was with them back in the early 2000. And that's another Yamaha kit that I got rewrapped with that charcoal design. And that's pretty much the biggest kit I'm playing these days. And it's a lot. Excuse me, it's a lot. And cymbals are one or two less. I think I only have one China type with this, and one less rack and one less floor. So
Gotcha.
that's the difference.
Wow.
I go down. I usually go with just a two tom mount.
Yeah.
I go down songs that, they're pretty simple. They're straight ahead. I don't really have too much in the writing of those songs. Scott does it, and if Chaz gets involved, I don't even know. And then plus John and Chaz, John and Scott use that other guy. I can't remember his name, who writes a lot of their material with them. From Philadelphia. And when the stuff is almost done and the drum tracks are down there, I just take it home and then practice it, learn it, and that's it. It's not, vibrantly written. I'll change it up a little bit during live shows and stuff. One or two.
Put your spin on it.
Yeah, but if I get a chance to put my spin on it for the recordings, then we'll stick with it. But a lot of times, John, John is very difficult to work with when it comes down to stuff like that. But he is who he is. I have nothing bad to say about him. He is who he is, but he's difficult. He's got his. It's kind of like his way or no way. It's just how it is. It's not even worth the argument sometimes. So,
well, yeah, like you said,
that's fine with me. Hey, it's his label. He's putting the money up. That's what you can do.
Right. Pick your battles, right?
And listen, I hear those horror stories from a lot of drummers. I mean, I don't know if anybody even knows this. A guy like Fred Curry from Cinderella, I think he only recorded one of their albums. Everything else was done with drum tracks. So they play it live, do great. He's a great drummer live, but they just didn't use him in the studio.
And I think, was it part of my understanding that Denny Carmassi did some of the stuff too?
That could be possible moving forward after that, but there's a lot of situations like that. Listen, there are guys who are just better timekeepers. It's not a matter of their skills or their talents or their cuts or their rolls or their flair. Right. It's just timekeeping. And when a singer's singing certain types of songs, they got to have that meter. And if they want the live sound, back in the day, they would get the best drummer who could lay the live sound down without any problems. I mean, I was recording Livesey tracks for the 1996 release. And I remember our studio guy, listen, Keith, don't be gay. We're going to take it again. Stop being gay. I didn't know what he was talking about. I was either slowing down or speeding up. So I remember this one end of one song, he, after about 15 measures, he goes, we got to go 32 measures out. We're going to fade this one out. I need 32 measures. I was dying. So they were all in the studio room, like, go. And then after that, they went like that. It was only like 4 measures. It goes, that's it. We only needed 4. We got 4. We're going to top it. We're going to tape it. I'm like,
we're done.
So, you would never know that, there's only 4 measures to be playing, and we just looped it for the 32 out. You know what I'm saying? And listen, there's a lot of tricks about like that. I mean, Mike Portner will tell you the same, man.
Oh,
a lot of this stuff is the trigger sound, this, that, and the other thing, and they tweak things in the studio with a digital punch. But hey, listen, you're duplicating it, you're playing it as great live, it's not a problem. But to get that one perfection thing on vinyl or CD, which is what most artists want to do today, not like the old days, you got to do it that way. So, and if you have the ability to do it, why not, right? So
that's incredible. That's incredible. So what was your growing up or throughout your life? What was your favorite concert that you went to?
Favorite? Well, definitely it's definitely a choice between Kiss and Rush. They're clearly my 2 favorite bands, and they will remain my favorite bands forever. I have nothing bad to say about them. Even the Kiss with the changes and the artists that are in the band today. Eric Singer, Tommy Thayer. It's all good. It's not the same, but it's still a Kiss show. It's still great. Right. I mean, the biggest things that lack in both of those bands these days would be, the voices. You just can't keep those voices after 40 years. So, and I give them that. I can't keep my stamina after 40 years. So this is the deal. You start to break down. But it's still Kiss. It's still Rush. It's still the songs that I've loved and lived through all my life, and which made me enjoy rock and roll and live rock and roll all my life. I mean, and behind that, Led Zeppelin again, but I didn't have much from them in my later years to say, hey, that's my main thing. I've had Kiss and Rush all through my life. It never ended. Bands like Deep Purple and those bands in the 70s and the early 80s were amazing to me. But what have they given me since? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
80s. Now, they might have, but is it the same feeling? Is it the same sound? Is it the same drive? Is it the same hook? No way. It just doesn't. Rush has changed your thing, but then there's something. Wow, there it is. wow, 2-minute song. Wow, there's a 12-minute song. There it is. I got them back. I mean, as much as I love Rush, I can't tell you the name of every song on every album. Some songs I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was a Rush song because it's one I just never listened to. But I knew it was there, but it wasn't a preference. Kiss songs, same thing. The later albums, Carnival of Souls, whatever they had, Cycle Surf, one song, two songs. But the first 4 or 5 catalogs, I know every song back and forth because that's when it impacted me the most. And they're still going to play those songs. If they stop playing those songs, I would probably never go to a Kiss concert. Just stop playing Shout It Out Loud. Stop playing Rock All Night. I'm the guy who wants to see the same thing over and over again. My mother said, how many? I've seen Rush 118 times. You know that?
No.
118 times. Yeah. A good friend of mine is good friends with Howard Underglad, and they're light guy. We've gone backstage. I've sat with Alex and Getty. I got stories about them you wouldn't believe. But every time they're in town, we always went for free. Sat by the sound booth or up front, 118 times. And I remember seeing people in the show. Oh man, how many times I want to play Spirit of Radio? Play something different. How about Limelight again? I'm like, well, what do you want to hear? Tell me what you want to hear, and I'll see if I can get it played. It's kind of funny. But they do it every year. They always pull, like Losing It, they pull out of the hat. Natural Science, they've pulled out of the hat. Chemistry, they pull. So what are these guys talking about? They're just not that heavy into them to know what they've done and what they've given back to the fans. You're a one-timer. How many times have you seen them? 3 times, and you're a Rush fan? You ain't a Rush fan. You're a Rush. I'm going to a concert tonight. That's all you are. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
So, listen, I sat in the Sirius Radio studios on November 15th, 2015, the last time that they discussed their retirement and their finishing. Did you know that? Did you ever see that? Go to Sirius Radio Town Hall with Rush, and I'm sitting right there in the front row, right across from them, having a conversation.
Oh, dude, I got to do that. Okay, Rush Town Hall, Sirius Radio,
2015. I get to ask them a question. We're talking and everything. It's just great.
Well, that's
met them several times. I've had a little bit of a buffet bite to eat with Alex. I was one time, me and my friend Bruno were in the family room backstage at Madison Square Garden drinking wine, and I was a fanboy. I had some pictures that I wanted Alex to sign, and somebody in the room said, "Hey, what are you guys doing in here? This is the family room. You're supposed to be in the room down the hall waiting for signatures and photos." I'm like, "Well, they put us in this room because we have a VIP and everything." So Alex was like, "Oh, hold on, Keith, right here, remember my name?" I was like, "Yes, Alex, I'm sorry if I'm going to bother," but he signed the thing, and we left and went to the other room. But that made me feel beyond great. And then Mohegan Sun 2015, front row, and I'm watching, take a couple pictures. Alex came right after me, right after Limelight, handed me the pick and moved everybody else's hand out of the way and handed it right to me. I'm like, yeah. I was like, wow.
Dude, that's amazing.
I got another amazing story. You ready for this one?
Always.
I got to show it. 1984 in Florida, going to see Rush on spring break. We're staying at the Hollywood Diplomat Hotel. Going to see Rush that night, and we're on the beach, and I got this big silver boombox with a big Rush sticker on it, and we're cranking our Rush, we're drinking pina coladas, and some guy walks by us and goes, "Hey, nice tunes, man. Hey, yeah, Rush tonight, Coliseum." Goes down to the beach, got blonde hair, he's going, got a kid with him, showering his kid off, walks back us again. I'm looking at him like, fucking hell, I said, "Tommy, that's how it's like. What do you mean? What would he be doing here? The concert's in 2 hours, blah, blah." I said, yeah, maybe you're right. Come on, let's go. We got to go soon. We get up, we go to the towel rack, we put our towels in. Alex Lifeson standing right here, and this guy, Mark Cherry, standing right there with long blonde hair. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at him. He looked at me, smiled, turned around, and walked away. I said, "Tommy, that's Alex Lifeson. What are you talking about? Come on, we got to go." And I look at the other guy, he starts laughing. So we go back to our room, we shower, we get rest up, and wasn't thinking about it anymore. We're walking to our seats in the Coliseum, and there's that guy, Mark Cherry, with the lighting crew at the soundboard. Like, "Dude, you were at the Diplomat Hotel about 4 hours ago." "Oh, yeah, I remember you." I just, "Was that fucking Alex?" Like, goes, "Well, yeah, we don't want to make a big deal. We had to go." I was standing right next to Alex Lifeson, and my friend made a big funny stink about it and told me it wasn't him. So now we know they're staying at the hotel. So after the concert, we rush back to the hotel. Sure enough, here come the buses, here come the cars. They all get out. I get their autographs. We didn't even have cameras back then. 110 was the only thing available, right? No cameras, but I got all their autographs. So now they're all in the lobby, Getty and Alex and Neil. They go up to, I got Neil Peart's autograph that day. It's insane. So now the night goes by, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We're still sitting in the lobby, and the hotel people, "Listen, you guys got to get out of this." No. I'm a guest at this hotel. So we were able to stay. So we're hanging out with the road crew, talking shit, whatever. Finally, we leave. They never come out. We go to the bathroom. We go to bed. I wake up the next morning. My first thought is, let me go get a camera. Maybe I could find them today and get pictures. They're all gone. The tour bus is gone. Everybody's gone. All the cars are gone. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, shit, I can't believe I missed this opportunity. Well, about 2 hours later, I'm at the beach. Then we go to the pool. There's Alex Lyson with his wife and his 2 kids, 3 chairs away from me. I'm like, oh, I run to the souvenir store, buy a camera, run back, and I go right up to him. Alex, I met you last night. You think I could get a picture with you? I'm here with my kids a little bit. Let me enjoy the day with my family, and maybe after that, I'll let you take a picture. So I said, that's cool. Now I'm sitting in the back of my chair, like, you're playing with his kids going to the pool, but never disturbed him again. And hopefully he didn't see me. I never know to this day because I never told him that was me. So now, like 3 hours later, he's starting everybody up. He grabbed us, just walked away. Didn't even come my way. I didn't chase him. I let him go. But what a story that is. I love that one. I let him
you still got the pictures?
Pictures, and got to sit down and eat with him years later. So it was no big deal.
That's fantastic. Same kind of thing happened to me with Billy Gibbons. I was like, and he goes, no, why don't we just let this happen? And, we'll talk about it in a little bit. No pictures ever happened, but
yeah, wow. Sometimes the guys don't want the picture. Sometimes guys don't care. And it's always got to be the right moment,
Right.
I don't know if you've been on it yet, but the Monsters of Rock cruises.
It's not yet, but my good buddy, Ron Keele, he's always there.
Ron Keele's a great dude. Well, hey, I'm going to tell you a funny story about Ron Keele now because we did a show, I want to say Denver, and Ron Keele was doing a solo thing that night. And, we now played a couple of the bands. I think Tracy Gunn was there, a couple of the guys. So after we said, I went up to Ron. I said, hey, Ron, got a picture of me, Keith, and Tango. Yeah, sure, whatever. But he was kind of like to get off stage, right? And his wife, his girlfriend was there, and I gave her the camera, and she couldn't figure it out. So I was like, and he's like getting pissed off. So I'm like, no, you got to hold. I'm trying to direct her what to do, and she's getting a little frustrated. And Ron's like, listen, she's not a photographer. If you can't get it right, forget it. He screamed at me. I mean, she was, oh man, sorry, forget it. I wanted to say it's not my fault. I didn't say anything bad.
Well,
but now the next day we're all at the same hotel. We're all up having coffee. He's seen me. He comes over and he goes, listen, man, I'm sorry for snapping at you last night. And he really snapped at me. I was like, no, it's all right, man. I was being a little pushy with the camera. Your girlfriend wasn't getting it. And I know these things are painting us. Yeah, man, you want to take one now? So I held it in front, and I took it up. And it was like high five. Like, cool. But I see him on the boats and stuff. I tell him about that, and he laughs about that. He apologized the next day. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I mean, I've known Ron since it's funny because I've known Ron since 2004. I used to work for St. Louis Music, Ampeg, right? And we were at Nashville for the NAMM show, and I'm in our booth, and here's a gentleman, looks like a rock star. It's my first year at the NAMM show working for St. Louis Music, and I look, and it's Ron Keele, and I stick my hand out. I'm like, Ron, how's it going? My name's Stuart. I've been a fan for years, and he was right off the bat, totally cool. Tells me all about the new Iron Horse record that they've got coming out. Got the bass player Gino, who's with him now still, who played in the reunion of Keele, and then also now plays in the Ron Keele band. And his Jay Rusnick was there, the guitar player, and just had a good time. And then I've subsequently done a couple of album covers for him over the years. And but yeah, good guy. He really cares about the people. I'm glad to hear that story that you have.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Tell him, he'll probably remember. He goes, oh, that was a big, right? He came up to me, trying to teach my girl how to work his phone. How would you know how to work his goddamn phone? It was pretty funny. But those guys, Michael Majektovic, those bands that had a really good capability of really doing more, and just for some reason they just, went downhill. They're really happy to be up there now and getting the breaks and getting the opportunities they're getting with the festivals and the cruises.
Right.
And I'm happy for them, man. I'm like, oh, God, man, yeah, get up there and, kick some ass. And they do, and they have a lot of fun. Most of those guys, Red Beach and all those guys that they're just phenomenal musicians that, again, like I said, they just weren't really in the right place at the right time. I mean, Brian Tichy's a phenomenal drummer, and he leaves Whitesnake. Who leaves Whitesnake? Mike Portnoy. Oh, Mike Portnoy was the other drummer I was thinking about before when I was mentioning drummers. I'm sorry. Yeah. Who leaves a great band like Dream Theater? But he can. They can.
Right.
Right. They're never going to get another gig, and that's how it worked for those guys.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, Papa Pete, he's a good buddy of mine. He's from Canada, just north of you there.
Who's this?
So he says, who holds the best beat? What are your top three? We already kind of talked about it. Tommy and some of these other guys.
Right.
Here's one for you. More of a jazz drummer. You know about Billy Cobham?
I do, and I've seen him live in clinic, probably at one of those places where what's the guitar player, famous guitar player, style guitar, Les Paul. He owned a club in the city.
He did, yes.
What was the name of it? You remember?
I don't, but I do remember. I was just reading my notes from one of the years that I went with my wife, and we walked right past the club where he would play every Monday.
Can't remember it, but I saw Billy Cobham in clinic 1982, 83 back then. Yeah. And he was phenomenal, no doubt about it. I mean, you know, jazz drummers are and listen, again, there's so many great drummers out there. I even touched on the, you know. Whatever was for drummers, right? If it was your appeal, if you were stuck into the moment of a style of music, whether it was for a year or 10 years, any drummer that fell around that, you know, norm would be more, you know, reachable to you because you've seen him and heard him and viewed them and listened to them. Everybody said, "Oh, check out this guy from Slayer," you know, like he's all right. I don't want to hear that music again, you know, whatever it is. Yeah. So, but the more you desire of that type, that genre, that style of music that you prefer, you're going to hear more of it, and you're going to see more of it, and you're going to appreciate more of it than other things that are as appreciative. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So most of us have expanded our ears and listened to a little bit of everything. But if there's just not enough room in a day to listen to 40 musicians' songs on their way home, you know what I'm saying? You know,
right? I do.
One you like to hear,
like rest in peace, Mr. Frankie Benali, who we lost just recently. You know, he was a great showman drummer. I met him. I had the very fortunate experience to meet him a couple of times. Once was at the NAMM show, but once was after they had the reformed Metal Health band reformed again, and they were playing up. They played up in Peoria on a Sunday night. I took the road trip up.
Do you remember who the singer was?
And saw him and hung out with the whole band there.
You remember who the singer was at the time?
Well, yeah, it was Kevin.
Oh, okay, back then. Okay, good.
Yeah, Kevin DeBro. It was, like I say, it was the Metal Health lineup.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kevin, Rudy, Carlos, and Frankie. So, in fact, I got a hold of Kevin at the hotel. I called him at the hotel, and I was like, and we're talking on the phone, and I said, "Hey, you mind if I come by? I got a few things I'd love to have you guys autograph." And he goes, "Well, I had a little trouble in a hotel recently with somebody who wanted to do something." I said, he goes, "Maybe you heard about it." I go, "No, I didn't." And he goes, "Okay, but you come to the show. We'll sign anything. We're going to be hanging out after the show." And they did. I mean, that
was at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, in their heyday, in the popular time. That's surprising. Yeah.
Well, no, that wasn't back in. That was like.
That's when they came back.
It was when they all reformed again.
Reunited. Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to remember exactly what year that was. I mean, it was in the 2000s.
No, it had to be with Kevin, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'd be like middle to the early 90s, because I think they played the Lowdown in Mount Vernon with the original lineup too, with Kevin, and I think we.
Okay, no, I'll take your word for that.
I think they might have opened up one of those shows. They went in the New York area.
Yeah, because
Carlos, I know, was definitely on guitar. Was Frankie and Rudy? And, that was like mid 90s.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Because I hate how time travels, and I think it's a certain time, and somebody goes, "No, it was actually about that time." I'm like, "Oh no, you're probably right." Because actually, the job I think I was working allowed me to be up there at that time frame, and then be back in time. Because my friend goes, "You really want to come up here? Were you that big of a fan?" And I'm like, "Well, to tell you the truth, Metal Health, aces. When it came to the next record, Condition Critical, not such a great record. When it came to the third record, still not such a great record. But the thing about it was when we were into them big in 83 because of Metal Health, I saw them open up for Def Leppard on the Pyromania tour with Uriah Heep, played before them on the Head First album tour. So it was 3 bands, and they were untouchable. They were in all my magazines, but they were untouchable.
Yeah.
And I said, now they want to press the flesh, so I'll do it.
He died in 2007, and they reunited in 1991, and they were on and off for about 10 years.
Right. So I don't know. I'll double check it, but I don't know, man.
Their main stint, it says here, from 1975 to 1987, and then he left the band, and then he rejoined in 1991 till his death in 2007. But the touring was the biggest. It was like middle 90s, so about 2001 too.
Okay.
They had the hearing aid in 1985. It's all here on the Wikipedia.
Correct. No, I appreciate that. I always love learning stuff, figuring stuff out, and remembering. I mean, that's the remembering.
Cool.
So let me see if I can get back to. I love this. Don't you love a lightning round like this?
It lasted almost an hour. Well, what's the next round?
I know. That's the beauty of it. I'm going to move on. This is. Let me see. What is? Oh, here's one of my favorite questions. Is your glass usually half full or half empty?
My glass?
Yes.
It's usually half full. Always get a fill up right away.
And my wife said this to me recently. This is just one of those off the cuff questions because she asked me recently. She said to me recently, she goes, "Yeah, that's right. My glass is always half empty. Yours is always half full." I go, "No, my glass is always full." To hell with half.
That's the answer I want to give.
I ain't got time for that.
Go to the bathroom, get a drink, or get a glasses.
So what was your biggest equipment fail on when you were playing?
Oh, that happened quite a few times. Technology again, background vocals, just any other thing synthesized. I get forced to wear the the click track, and back when I did it in the late 80s and 90s with a cover band, for some reason back then it was a lot easier. I used to use these big Sony headphone stuff, and now you want to be not more noticeable of it today, so you use the in-ear monitors and stuff like that.
Right.
Problems with the Tango down set that we use some of that stuff in. I'm not going to give it all away, and quite a few people do. Sometimes the artists like to have it run from beginning to end, even if there's nothing happening.
Gotcha.
So either I could play steady to the beat on time, or when there's a space between songs, it doesn't change. There's been times when I've dropped the ball and we've had to stop it and then literally fast forward it to the next song because we couldn't regroup that song. So when it happens, Scott knows when it happens. If it happens, he'll have to turn around, stop it. The songs, we play the rest of the song out. Then at the end of the song, he's got to turn around and fast forward it to the next song and start again. So we've had that happen 3 or 4 times. Two of the times it was really noticeable because the background tracks were off and nobody. I could have just played straight 2/4 and then I never would have been out. But once I got everybody in and it was my era with the drum fill, 2 measures or 2 beats early, they started singing the backtracks at the end of my cut. The backtracks didn't come till after. So they were ending and they were done. So if they just changed their format, took out 2 beats and then started again sooner, it would have been back on. But nobody figured that out and we had to play it against it. And he had to turn it off. So it sounds terrible. Yeah. But that's happened 3 or 4 times with Tango Down. Once with Phil Naro when Phil was in the band.
Yeah.
Twice with David. And I want to say once with Chaz. So
wow,
it happens. Yeah, it happens.
And maybe rock and roll doesn't need to be so perfect.
No, well, that's try convincing some people that, and you won't be able to. I mean, the audience more likely will agree, but the writers, the artists, the managers, the record labels, they have a whole different perspective. Because
let's face it, in rock and roll, everybody's coming at it from a different direction. I mean, you've got you oftentimes in a band. I mean, I've just been, I've been through this a few times here, but on the local scene, not touring or anything, but just on a local scene. I mean, you've got that guy who's, probably me at this point with some of my bands. You got this vision, right? So you're like, I want it like that. And then you've got another guy who's like, what? I don't know. How about like this? I don't care.
Enough to handle the details of me?
Yes. And then you got another guy that's like, I don't know, just tell me what to do and I'm on, and then you got somebody else who's like, what are you talking about? I just want to do this. Aren't we going to just do this? And you're like, I don't know, and so you got everybody coming at it a little differently because that's the way a band is.
Well, I put up a post on my Facebook a couple of days ago looking at some pictures that were put up by either Rush or Rush fans, and it was about pictures were in the woods. They've taken a couple. I don't know if they were recording maybe their last Snakes and Arrows album, or maybe I think it was that album. And they were in the woods and decided to take some pictures for whoever was walking with them and snapping some photos. And it was just three guys that are brothers for so many years, just goofing and laughing and making jokes. And Neil's laughing. And my first band when I was in high school, we did the same thing. We go on camping trips. We go to the woods and take pictures. We make music out in the woods. It's fun. Right. And it's nothing better than realizing that friends that you've had for 30 or 40 years, that you made music still today or at one time in your life, will always be the best bond between three men than anything in the world. I mean, it could be that you guys play ball together or so, but music is, it comes from your soul and everything. And to still be friends and to walk around in the woods and laugh and have fun together instead of hating each other and being egotistical with each other, like some bands are, that uniformity and that camaraderie between guys like in Rush and my band, the Exits that I had, we still have that. I'm like, that reminded me, like, wow, they had it, we have it, it's the best thing in the world,
Yeah. Well, let me, and now one of my questions here, I already know which direction you're going to go, but there's an added bit to it, and you may surprise me, but there's an added bit that will make it a little interesting. So I'm just going to say the question, which would you rather see at the peak of their career, Queen or Rush?
What do you mean, Queen or what?
Queen or Rush? Yeah. Which, if you could just go back in time,
what band would I rather be part of?
Which band would you rather have seen at the peak of their career, Queen or Rush?
Well, I've seen both of them at the peak of their career. So
okay, so what would you
answer?
So would you rather? Okay, so let's just say, so you saw them both.
Rush.
What would you say Rush's peak was? I know what I would say, but
I'm going to say from the beginning till Moving Pictures and Grace Under Pressure. Then I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. Power Windows.
I did too.
Those were definitely the downfalls.
Yeah.
Sure Don't Tell. And then they picked it up after that a little bit.
They did a little bit, but it never was as good as Moving Pictures to me.
But I don't think Moving Pictures was the peak. I think that was the reachable tip of the volcano.
Okay.
They were erupting way before that with Hemispheres and Spirit Radio and stuff. Free Will, Natural Science. Oh God, correct. Unbelievable. I think the only thing that was great about Moving Pictures was that more of it was mainstream, radio friendly tunes, and with the great talent that they had. Like Vital Signs and The Camera's Eye. I can listen to that song over and over and over again. It still gives me chills. But so does La Villa Strangiato, and so does Circumstances. And so does, I could go back and forth. I'm just a major Rush fan. They never disappointed me to the point where I wouldn't listen, but there was definitely a peak or a period where I wasn't so as into it as I was more the other times. And that was the Hold Your Fire, Show of Hands, a couple of those albums around that time. Snakes and Arrows picked me back up a little bit.
What about Counterparts? What'd you think about that?
Counterparts is one of my favorite albums.
Same here.
It's one of my favorite albums for everything that it offers. Comparing it to the older albums and the new albums, it's somewhere in the middle, and it's on its own, and that's why I like it. It's really on its own. Oh my God, I love that album.
For me, I kind of felt it was finally a Rush album that I could listen to from front to back. And
it was an animal of its own, and all of it was on its own. You know what I'm saying? That's why
I have something. I'll have to try to get a copy made of it. I do have a bootleg from that tour that I'll have to get to you, since you're such a big Rush fan, even though you've probably already got stuff. But now, what would you consider the peak of Queen's career? Just for fun.
Again, didn't follow them album by album.
Gotcha.
But Bohemian Rhapsody was obviously the peak of their radio friendly and mainstream, exposure.
Right.
But Jesus Christ, what they did in tours and Wimbledon and Live Aid and all that stuff was more chilling to me than listening to a record, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally understand that.
Performance and the achievements in that era.
Yeah.
And, seeing that and stuff like that kind of really moved me more with Queen.
Yeah. And I think when I think about, going back to just very briefly, going back to Rush, I think one of the things that I think about with moving pictures is I involve when I'm thinking about a peak of somebody's career, I'm thinking about when all those things are hitting, when all the pistons are firing. You've still got all of your Rush fans involved, but you've also got something that's mainstream. That's not so mainstream that you're like, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah. It's not like the Kiss went to I was made for loving you. Exactly. Perfect example. Right.
Yeah. Right. Even though Dynasty, I didn't own Dynasty until I was an adult and married and had kids. I finally was getting all the remasters.
I don't think I've heard The Elder or Dynasty from top to bottom.
I have finally.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard it from The Elder. I know I never heard from top to bottom.
Well, let me tell you what, though.
Dynasty, I think I did.
Okay, because I was going to say, go ahead and do that because personally, I think it's worth
better than The Elder.
Yeah.
Without that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I think Dynasty's truly, truly worth it. I want to make sure that I get to some of this stuff in the chat, but
because how much more time do we got? Because
I need to let you get going.
Yeah, my wife's birthday weekend.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. This.
I'm
glad it's taking.
You want me to walk you around my?
I would love that, dude. If you.
Are you ready?
We are. Everybody's ready.
As you can see right here, you got all my stuff, Tango Down albums and stuff.
Yes.
Posters. You can see that real quick.
Yes.
Sundown stuff. That's the Sundown stuff. All that big stuff, like tour posters and stuff like that.
Sweet.
Let's go in the other room. Yeah.
Let's go in the other room.
I'm a Vampirella fan. I don't know if you know who Vampirella.
Oh, is that right? I actually used her on one of my gig nights.
I love her.
Oh my gosh, get out of here.
Some more Sundown stuff. Sundown posters, as you can see down there at the bottom.
Wow. Now, who all was in Sundown with you?
I was in Sundown 18 years. We were a Southern Rock tribute band. And we played Outlaws, All My Brothers, Leonard Skinner, stuff like that.
Man, I've been dying to play Greengrass and High Tides. Look at that. Dude. Wow. Oh, look at that. Whew. Now, who is that down there at the bottom there with the cowboy hat on?
That's Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, who's that with the hat on?
Right here, Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And then a couple other guys. The guys from Hatchet.
Wow.
Hatchet, Paul, Todd, Tucker. He passed away in 2000.
That looks like Henry Paul.
It is.
Yeah.
Henry Paul are friends.
Oh man, I love Henry Paul.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Lives himself.
Dude.
Somebody said the photo.
Wow.
Frankie Manali up top is here.
Yeah.
There's my girl Taylor Dane. You see her?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Brett.
There's Brett. Yeah.
Hey, Matt Smith.
Wow.
This guy too. I mean, it's like a fucking. I just got that new.
There's more Vampirella, man. Oh, wow. Dude. That is sweet.
So that was the New York Times. One of those articles of New York. This is my computer room.
Sweet. Get out of town. Look at that. That's awesome.
Getting out from the back there.
Yes.
That's a duplicate of one of the double sets.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
Up there. And those are the autographs. Can you see the autographs from Florida?
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy. Fifth.
Yeah, man.
I'm a Raiders fan, Oakland Raiders, big time Raiders fan.
Okay, you're a Raiders fan. All right.
All the stuff, yeah. I got a lot of stuff. How about that picture? Backstage, Joe's Beach one year.
You know, whatever happened to John Rutsey?
Oh, well, he died recently, about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, okay. Did he ever do?
Yeah, the first album was John Rutsey.
Well, I know that, but did he do much after that?
Music, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I didn't even take it downstairs to the man cave with my studio, so I'm a little too tired to do that.
Oh yeah, no. Well, you could if you would love to. I'd love to have you back on. We can talk some more, and you could take us down there.
Take out of that. There's so much cool stuff in my house, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, look at this one. Let's see. You need to write a book if you haven't.
No doubt about it.
Be 1,000 pages.
No doubt about it. I'm seriously thinking about that right now. Just my stories, like the Dirt and all these rock and roll songs. I can tell you stories about my keyboard player tying up daughters to families at house parties to try to get them to. It's just bad. I mean, we did. Hotel stories where we had the Russian ice skating team on the same floor of us walking around in their underwears and drinking vodka, and we were all so stoned we couldn't even get it on with any of them, and they were laughing at us. So we were laying on the floor. Oh, you're a fucking slut. Oh, you're a fucking drunk rock star. I said, come here, honey, come here. And none of us got laid because we were all so fucked up. It was hysterical. When we thought about what happened the night before, it was like, did we really pass that up? Yes, we did. Yeah, there were stories.
Do you know much about Richard Christie?
No, who was that?
Richard Christie. I met Richard. He was in Iced Earth at the time.
Iced Earth, okay.
And he would. I saw him in Iced Earth. Iced Earth. I knew Jimmy McDonough, bass player, and who then soon after I saw him in Iced Earth over not too far from where I live in Illinois. He left Iced Earth and got a job with Howard Stern. And one of the I remember sitting down with Richard before the show, and he was a freaking hoot. The dude was
what did he do? Was comedian?
Well, he could have been. He could have been. But he's a drummer, yeah.
So what was he doing for Howard?
He went on there to be one somebody as a part of the show, and they were interviewing. I think it was his interview process, and they were like, "Tell us some outrageous story." And he would talk about how he'd go to Iron Maiden shows wearing Depends, and so he could drink as much beer as he want, get screwed up at the show, and piss himself, and not have to take off from the show and go to the bathroom. I was like, wow, I love Maiden.
It was a prop for Howard. It was a prop. It was a conversation.
He was a prop. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no. So that's who Richard Christie is. And, but he was a hoot. I mean, the dude could have been a comedian. So, look at this one. Here you go. There's not sure what my first album ever was, but Men at Work or Men Without Hats. One of those men bands. But yeah, it's,
Heard him dance.
That's the kind of stuff I was playing when I was on the radio. Well, let me ask you, because what I would really love to do the next time. Let's just do it the next time because you got stuff to get to.
I really got to go now.
Because this has been brilliant. I really appreciate the time. But when we get back, we'll have to. I do want to kind of go through the Tango Down stuff. But again, that's kind of why I did the history without you last night, because I'm like,
if you have any specific stories to question or questions about, some of the artists and the tunes, I could probably help you out with that. But like I said, the Tango Down, it's been me and Scott since day one till today. We've been through 4 singers and 4 bass players. It's just, it's been a rough ride. I think that has a lot to do with why our exposure crept up and then crept down, crept up and crept down. We still have the solid, dedicated fans along with us all the way, but we failed to get it into the 100,000s, which would made us tour with the big shots, and because of the dropping of 1 or 2 of the guys. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you about David Reese. After he quit the band, I was at Mohegan Sun. I don't want to say it was a Kiss concert or a Judas Priest concert, and some guy recognized me. I was playing the slot, came up there, Keith Michaels, Tango Down. I got that second album with David on. I fucking love David. I'm so fucking mad at you guys. He's not in the band anymore. Well, it's bullshit. I'm like, all right, I understand you're upset, but we were upset too, man. It's like, no, it's really fucked up that I want to see you guys live, and now I'm not going to be able to. I was thinking like, Pantera issue now, Dimebag issue, and I was like, I had to get away from it. He was pissed. He never got a chance to see the David Reese lineup, and he was mad. And I get it. Not my fault. He quit. What am I going to tell you? But I wasn't blaming anybody, but he was just sharing his pain. And I got it. But enough was enough. I had to walk away. That happens.
Well, that would be like me being pissed off at Crucified Barbara, because I'm like, well, you put out these albums, I finally got into you, and now you broke up.
Yeah, well, and I'm like, but some people have that kind of passion so much that it affects them mentally, and they break out on you when they have an opportunity.
Which I can see that. That's usually where I say I get it.
But I had to move away. I knew how to handle it. I didn't get like, an asshole, get out of here. You don't know the story. I didn't say, what are you talking about? I didn't defend the situation. I just agree with him, sugarcoated it a little bit, and then walked away.
Well, and sometimes I think we have to look at some of those folks and go, are you in a band?
Well, I didn't really get to that much of a conversation with him.
No, you're right. I
need to get away from him. Believe me.
No, I do understand that. I've had my moments where I'm like, I got to get away from this person. But you know what? Then what I suppose we need to say in a forum like this is, think about being in a band. Have you ever been in a band? And think about this: if things go awry with a band that you love,
it's a marriage.
Think about it and think sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it's nobody's fault. Right. It just doesn't work out. And
you act that way when your parents got divorced.
Yeah, right. And you're sitting there going, it's not like I told David to leave.
No, he quit. That's the thing. Yeah.
You're like, I didn't want that to happen. It just happened.
At the Rock and Skull probably the year before the one we met. Yeah. He hired me to do his reset with him. And we were all set to go, and last minute Justin couldn't afford him. He had to bail out. So, but we're going to play together. So I was looking forward to that, but this didn't happen.
Right.
I did the Reese show. As a matter of fact, I did the Reese show in 2014 with Reese. The first time, the first Rock and Skull, I want to say, was 2013.
I think we did it. Right.
We did the 2014, and I did it with Reese after David was out of the band. Me and Ronnie Parks went along with Jack Frost and the keyboard player from Angel, and we did the show out there. And then I talked to Justin, and pretty much that's how I sealed the deal for John to renegotiate with him to get Tango Down in there the year after.
Gotcha.
That's what happened.
Well, I'm certainly very blessed, I think, in my, having seen you guys, having heard your music. It's something that a band I was not aware of at the time when I saw you guys in 2017. And then was very excited to have a chance to hang out with you guys in 2018, especially as excited as I was to have my own band there. And it was such a pleasure to meet all of you guys and to see you guys play and to hear your music and then to buy it. In 2018, I bought 3 of the CDs that John had there.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Got the album
that was as many as he had. And then I got these two just recently.
The one behind you was the album?
I bought the vinyl that year, yes. Yep. And awesome. You guys all signed the vinyl. I just, God, I love this record. It is so outstanding. Now, what I need to know before I let you go is what's the news on a new one? I know the COVID thing has put a hold on everything, but
and I'm not allowed to
okay
release that information. But
not a problem. Not a problem.
There will be a new one. That's all I'm allowed to say.
Good. That's all I think I want to know. I think that's what everybody else wants to know who loves this record is, anybody who's a fan of this Bulletproof record.
Yeah. I mean, that we could count on as long as the COVID goes away and we're able to get together again and finish what we started. So
yeah. Okay. Good. Well, I think that's a great place for us. I need to let you go for the birthday weekend, and I really, really appreciate and have truly enjoyed having you on tonight.
This is cool. You got a nice little show here. I appreciate it too, man.
Thank you, my friend.
Do it again, and send me that link of that ad. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not a problem. And and I'll definitely send you.
All right.
What's that?
And my email.
Yep.
Email. Yeah. So let's talk on my email. We'll go over it again.
That sounds wonderful.
Have a good night, man. It's a pleasure talking to you. Rock on.
Thanks, man. Take it easy.
Yeah.